Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing splendid today. If you're new here, my name is Ian with Out of This World Reader, and today's little adventure is going to be the book shopping tag. Harriet over at Harriet's Book Corner recently tagged me, and I felt like I needed to do this because I have a problem with book buying and book shopping. I have so many books on my bookshelves that I really need to get to, but I just keep buying more books, and that I need to figure out what to do to read all the books before I would just buy more, but I don't think I can. So let's just jump right in with these questions. Maybe they'll help me uncover the truth about how I can avoid this in the future. Question number 1 is, how do you buy books? Physically because you believe in the power of touch, or online because interactions are overrated? I'm gonna have to go with physical. There's just something about being in a bookstore, like that feeling you get, like those warm feelings and stuff that you just feel in your body when you're walking around perusing the shelves, kind of finding different books that just intrigue you and finding the ones you really wanted to go in. And I think another reason is probably because I end up buying more than I actually should. Like during COVID, when I was buying books online, like I'd only buy a certain one and then that was it. But before that, when I went into bookstores, I was buying a lot more than I should have, and I was originally planning on. But yeah, that physical, just being in kind of contact with all the different books, just it brings just a lot of joy. So I have to go with physical on that. Question number 2 is, do you prefer bigger bookshops or smaller ones? I really enjoy just all bookstores in general, but I think with the bigger bookstores there's just a lot more shelves and a lot more to kind of get lost in. And with like the smaller ones, you just have like the hidden gems, and there's like a uniqueness to just their kind of store. Like they'll do something special. Like I've seen some bookstores where they'll do like a kind of like a blind date, essentially. Like they'll wrap up a book and they'll give you just a little bit of info on the front, and then you just go off of that, and then you go home after buying the book and you're just left surprised at what book you get. So I just enjoy kind of like the smaller ones, how they kind of do different things, and with the larger ones you can spend hours in there just going through the different shelves. And a lot of times, like the bigger bookstores are always well stocked sometimes, but they both just have great qualities that it's hard to pick between the two. Question number 3 is, do you prefer to buy books when they are brand new, being the first to touch them, it is in great condition, or do you prefer used ones, the books having character, history, and personality? To me, it really doesn't matter. Growing up, I got a lot of books from my library, so they were already well used and kind of torn up, so I was used to kind of that aspect a little bit. The only time that I really want kind of like a newer version of a book is for a book that like I'm really excited for, or just can't wait to just dive into, or if it's kind of like a collector's edition, or maybe like a classic that I really enjoyed that I really want to just include on my shelf, kind of like as a little bit of beauty on there. But other than that, like I like having a little bit of character in my books. Like having a little bit of torn up, it just shows that a lot of other eyes have kind of experienced it and have touched a lot of people. So there's something about like that kind of feeling that the connection that you get from just the pages kind of being a little bit worn and the book spine kind of being just different and kind of torn up. There's a little bit of connection you kind of get from that, I feel like. But to be honest, it really doesn't matter. If I find a book at my used bookstore in a good condition, I'll pick it up. If it's in a terrible condition but I'm really interested in it, I'll pick it up as well. Question number 4 is, are you a coupon TLC level crazy person, or are you a full price Sweet 16 MTV? I've always been a pretty thrifty person. I try and get all my books used, but the only time that I really kind of go all out on a book is when I'm really excited for it, or it's part of a series that I started and I really enjoyed, or it's collector's edition. But I don't really collect many books, I guess. If I just keep the book that I found. But a lot of times at the kind of used bookstores and thrift stores, you'll find like a lot of hidden gems. So that's why I always tend to go towards kind of the used books and kind of just thrifty. I've always been thrifty. Question number 5 is read, research, analyze Sherlock Holmes-style, or impulse buyer like a shopaholic. I will do a little bit of research before going to bookshops or kind of buying online, but most of the time I just go into bookstores with a couple books that I really want to pick out, and then I come home with a ton more, like I said, or kind of like at those bookstores, or kind of like online. You know how they have like these little suggestions for these, if you like this author then you like that author, or at the bookstores they'll kind of have like those kind of themes around it. Like I'll check out those, and covers. If a cover really intrigues me, like I will buy it. I won't even look at what it's about. If it just really looks good, I will buy it. And I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but for some reason I do. Question number 6 is a book or two at a time, or full cart pandemic style till the mailman dies. Till the mailman dies. I've had a problem here over the pandemic. I remember getting these giant packages of just like a ton of books. I can't remember what website it is, but they always sell like really cheap books. And this was when I was kind of like building up my bookshelves. I really had very little books. I was going to the library, but since everything was closed down, I felt like I had to buy everything. So I just remember getting these giant boxes, and there was a ton of books in there. And now I've got 2 full bookshelves here. So I've got a problem, but I've started to get better. Been using my library more now that it's open, and I've been finding thrift books, and I've just been kind of trying to go through my like physical TBR and everything that I've got already on my shelves before buying books, but I'm still buying books. So yeah, got some problems. Question number 7 is new and recent releases, or older and classics. If I'm super hyped for that new release, you bet you I'm gonna buy it. But most of the time, I found a lot of books that are kind of from backlist authors, like all their backlist I've really kind of been interested in. So I haven't really been checking out a lot of new releases. Like I'll get some in book boxes or kind of book of the month picks, but I hardly ever kind of been pre-ordering lately. I've been just kind of trying to dive into authors that really intrigue me. I really wanted to get into just other Marie Lu's books, Naomi Novik's books. I really want to get to the Temporary series and start Deadly Education before the next book comes. Brandon Sanderson's got a lot of books that I really want to check out. So there's just a lot of books that have already came out that I really want to check out. So I haven't been pre-ordering and new releases very often. I really want to kind of dive into those other books and kind of see some reviews before those books come out, because I don't want to spend a lot of money and then not enjoy the books. So just backlist most of the time. Question number 8 is, are you a pre-order total fan freak, or wait until it arrives at the bookshop because it can wait? Most of the time I pre-order books because I've had some very bad experiences going to the bookstore and then them being out of the copy and then having to order it online anyway. So most of the time I pre-order, but if I feel like it's not going to be kind of sold out, then I'll go in and buy it, because there's just something about being a bookstore. But most of the time I pre-order my books. Question number 9 is, do you prefer special, expensive, beautiful covers, color, edges, and unique editions, or is it the inside of the book that counts? It's the inside of the book that counts to me right now. I don't really collect a lot of books, but I'm sure that's going to change here pretty soon, because I found a lot of books that I've seen the collector's editions of, and since you found out earlier that I really love covers and how beautiful they are, I might buy them. But as of right now, I don't have many collector's editions of books or special editions, and it's just, to me, like, if I there's been some books that I've gotten that really look pretty and they're terrible, and there's been some books that are not the best looking and they have some of the best kind of reading experiences that I've gotten. So it's what's inside the pages that counts. It's always the cover. Never judge a book by a cover. It's what you should live by, but for some reason sometimes I don't. Question number 10 is, picture your favorite book. Do you show your love by buying multiple copies, or do you believe in single true love? That's tough, but I'm probably gonna have to go with single true love. If a book kind of touches me and it's my first experience kind of reading it and it touches me, in my heart and it sticks in there for a while, I feel like I will have a connection with that certain book. And if I get another book, that connection might be kind of like drawn and kind of there's conflicts going on there. So I'm gonna have to go with the single book. Unless I don't know, it's hard to tell. But yeah, single book. Question number 11 is name your favorite places to bookshop. I can't remember what the name of it is exactly, but I believe it is the Blackwells in Oxford. It's got like 5 different floors, and I just remember having all these great memories of going there every time we kind of took a trip over to England to the kind of visit family, and always kind of going into that bookstore and always coming home with some books. But there's just something about that bookstore that kind of has always fascinated me with like how huge it is. Like I've never been in a bookstore that's got like several different floors, and I do kind of enjoy Barnes and Noble. They're really the only biggest bookstore that's kind of like in my city right now. There's not been like very many smaller bookstores around me. I think the closest kind of smaller ones are in Denver. But yeah, I'm looking forward to kind of checking out more bookstores in the future. And now it's time to tag some people, so I'm going to tag Scientist Reading Room, Reading with Lawrence, and Jess over at Jess Book Girl TV. So I hope they give it a try, have some fun, learn about their kind of shopping experiences. But that's all for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you all have a splendid today. Go outside and have a little adventure. But I'm going to leave you with a message from Ellie, who said that adventure is out there. So I'll catch you next time. Bye.